Greetings, citizens of Earth. I am a Xilien from the planet X, one of the moons of Jupiter. Because that makes sense. I'm here to offer you a trade, perhaps one that you would be interested in. I will rid the world of your Godzilla problem because he's destroying things. In exchange, I shall give you the cure to cancer for real reasons.
Hey, John, ready for next Godzilla?
Beans. Hi, Pat.
You watched Invasion of Astro-Monsters again, didn't you?
And what if I did?
You're pretending to be the Commandant again?
Maybe.
He's not the good guy, John.
Well, he had some good points, didn't he?
No! He had no points. He just wanted to kill everyone.
And?
The Great War of the Monsters. The invasion of the Astro-Monster. Welcome back to Entertainment Rebooted, specifically welcome back to Cinema Revisited Godzilla, where we are watching all of the classic to modern Godzilla movies. And we are talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the iconic of all of these great old school Godzilla kaiju monster fighting films. Tonight's film was, I forget the year. Give me a second. Technical difficulties is 1965.
Yep.
The Invasion of the Astro-Monster. And yes, we are not mistaken. That is a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
It features Godzilla.
For like 5 minutes.
Ish. He is still there.
Yep.
It still counts. I am joined, of course, by my great and overpowered co-host. Give us the plot summary, Pat, of the invasion of the Astro-Monster. If you can remember the plot that is hidden within the mess of a film.
All right. Some snippets. World Space Organization sending people to a planet discovered just surrounding outside Saturn. That's also technically
Jupiter.
Saturn's moon.
Jupiter,
Saturn, they're both up there. They're gas giants. They do what they do.
It's the same thing either way. Mysterious planet that is definitely a moon, but not a moon.
Yes.
It's not a moon.
They send them up there to do what they do. They are kidnapped by aliens on the planet and told, hey, we have a problem. King Ghidorah shows up. They call him Monster Zero.
Because they don't use names, they use numbers to name things.
Yes.
Which is contradictory to the fact that they say that they name things.
Yes, they are named Xiliens. They say,
the aliens are Xiliens.
if you let us take Rodan and Godzilla to fight Monster Zero, we will give you the cure to cancer. They go back to Earth. Fuji has a sister who is dating an inventor. He's making a self-defense thing called the Lady Guard. It emits a loud sound to keep ladies safe. Pretty cool. Glenn, the token American of the film.
But he has the most masculine dubbed voice of all time.
Yes.
Every time he talks, he comes off as great hero, strongman.
Yes. Very strong. Very great. Very man.
Much Glenn.
Much Glenn. Glenn is dating a woman who works for the World Education Foundation who buys the invention from Fuji's sister's boyfriend. Turns out they're actually a front for the Xiliens and they're stopping him to attack so they can attack easier. Xiliens sneak onto Earth, kidnap, take Godzilla and Rodan, and leave, taking back Fuji, Glenn, and the head of the World Space Federation.
Yep.
Yeah. We see Godzilla and Rodan fight King Ghidorah for a little bit. They send Fuji, Glenn, and the doctor back to Earth.
With what is supposed to be the cure to cancer.
Yes.
On a tape.
Yeah. they get back to Earth, they start to play the tape, and it's actually them saying, hey, you surrender to us now. You're our colony. If you don't believe us or you think you can fight back, we're going to unleash the monsters on you.
And we're going to destroy all humans.
Yes.
Surrender or die.
So, at some point during this, the inventor got captured because he kept pestering him about when are you going to release my thing? When are you release my thing? And they followed him, and he went to their secret alien base, so they arrested him. Then Glenn, being Glenn, after the invasion has started, goes to find the woman that he loves.
Because Glenn is not just a man's man. That man's got a heart of freaking gold.
Yep. So he goes back to the World Education Foundation. He finds her there, and she's in her Xilien suit. And she's like, I can only marry you if you would marry me and become a Xilien, as the computer commands.
Because the Xiliens are controlled by a computer, unlike Glenn, who's fueled by pure testosterone and patriotism.
And coffee.
And Glenn.
Yep.
Glenn is powered by Glenn.
Yep. So they have a heart-touching scene. He gets arrested. She goes to cry to him and say, Glenn, I'll always love you.
Because we all love you,
Slips
Glenn.
him a message, and the alien's just like, nah, no love without computer. Zap, she gone.
And Glenn, being a man, doesn't even shed a tear.
Nope.
He just asks them point blank, why would you destroy that woman?
Because computer said no.
Very well.
So they arrest him. He ends up with the inventor. They see the note and just like, oh, my sound device can disable them. So they use that to break out.
Well, Glenn finds it. Because Glenn's a genius.
God. Glenn is a god.
And he finds the device that the inventor, the wussy of an inventor, had on him the entire time in the cell.
Yep.
But Glenn, being the genius that he is, he uses it and frees them all as he's freed us all.
Yep. At the same time, they find out the World Space Federation is working on breaking the electromagnetic wave mind control they're using on Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Rodan.
Using alpha waves.
Yes. Using alpha waves and metal particles.
Which alpha waves are probably just Glenn's brain waves, because he is the ultimate alpha.
Yep. They just recorded Glenn sleeping one night, and that's just what they're playing.
It's exactly what it is. Glenn appears with the other device that they need to destroy it. His invention. The
Lady Guard.
The Lady Guard.
So they then start to make it tape.
Which is actually the device that he needs to guard himself from the ladies.
Yep.
Sorry.
They make a tape of the Lady Guard that they broadcast across all the radios, so that disrupts the Xiliens. Then they start shooting the alpha waves at the aliens on top of shooting them at Rodan, Godzilla, and King Ghidorah. The aliens eventually blow themselves up.
Because I just can't handle the pure fury
Of Glenn.
of Glenn.
Then Godzilla and Rodan fight Ghidorah for a bit, eventually plunging into the sea with King Ghidorah flying away.
As he did in the last film. And Glenn just stares off into the sun and is just like, he ain't going to come back as long as I'm here.
I'll make him into jerky.
I'll turn him into sushi.
Sashimi.
Cooked sashimi.
Also,
Godzilla's 10th favorite snack.
Yep.
And Glenn's first.
Yep.
Cooked kaiju.
Yep. And that is as much as I care to remember about the film.
Yes, this film is very, very weird.
So weird.
Like, not gonna lie, this film is it is a crummy old 1960s sci-fi, like B-movie, sci-fi movie. It gives hard Santa Claus Conquers the Martian vibes.
Yep.
Like, it is like in line with that. Godzilla is not really in it outside of like 3 scenes.
Yeah, he's got like maybe 5 minutes of screen time total.
But I mean, he has one of the most famous scenes. One of his most famous scenes is in this movie where he jumps up and does
in lower gravity, so he like floats
Yeah, so he
down, and
floats.
it's like magnificent.
It is magnificent. And he does it literally as a victory dance.
Yeah, he's like flaunting at King Ghidorah as he flies away on Planet X.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that. But otherwise, Godzilla really is not in this film.
Nope.
Glenn is the man, the myth, the Glenn.
With the plan.
He's the Glenn with a plan.
Yep.
Speaking of having a plan, we usually plan on talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the iconic, as you know, Pat the Overpowered.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the good of the invasion of the Astro-Monster, 1965.
I mean, they still had good modeling.
That is true. Like, you know, we usually do have a comment about the modeling.
Yeah.
The modeling is usually...
They're just really,
Solid.
like, they keep that solid, and that's nice.
Yeah. They slipped a little bit, but they always...
Yeah.
They made up for it very much with the destruction sequences.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, their destruction sequences were on point. You almost forgive them for the sticks pulling the cars.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
I mean, they made Godzilla cute again.
he's always cute.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, the first time he shows up, he's adorable.
Yeah.
He's literally just like
He's
using
curled
his
into a
tail.
ball, and he's holding his tail, and he's sleeping.
He's sleeping with his tail as his teddy bear.
Yeah.
It's a teddy tail.
It's
Taily bear.
freaking adorable.
It's adorable. But
Um,
yeah, modeling's pretty solid. I agree with you. Another good is
Glenn.
Glenn.
Yeah. Glenn's just magnificent the entire time.
That's the iconic.
Oh, true. Sorry. Glenn the iconic.
Glenn the iconic. The good of, for me, I think the good of this film is just overall it is a unique premise. It's
True,
it's
true.
fresh. It feels very fresh. But that leads into my bad.
Yeah.
It's not a Godzilla movie.
It is not a Godzilla movie.
It's a bit too fresh.
Yeah.
And it's so fresh that it really does feel like somebody sat down with Toho and was like, hey, I have an idea for a cool alien movie where the aliens are trying to
Steal all the water on Earth.
steal all the water on Earth, and they're going to mind control us, but their ultimate weakness is actually sound, the most annoying sound possible, also known as my children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Toho was like, hold up, bro. Wait a minute. What's that I hear over the hills and far away? Is that another Godzilla movie? It is now.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It does not
it
feel like
is-
they sat down and made a Godzilla movie. It
It
feels
is
like they just
truly
added him.
2 movies thrown together.
Oh my gosh. Not only that, like Mothra wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they gave us Glenn.
They did give us Glenn.
If Mothra was on the screen, our faces may have melted.
True.
That's what it was.
Yeah. They were saving our faces. You know, if they gave us Mothra, Glenn, and the chief with his hat, our planes would have imploded.
Our brains actually probably would have imploded. It would have been too much.
Yeah.
It would have been far too much. But what do you think, Pat? Do you have any other like bad? Like what other things are bad or dead? Do you think I hit that one kind of on the head?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head there, sir. It's not a Godzilla movie. It's like Godzilla made a cameo in this movie.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. It was just it's a crummy B movie, and Godzilla makes a cameo. Hopefully that sells tickets.
It probably did.
Oh, I mean, it's sold out.
Yeah.
Like we're watching it for Godzilla, the revisited series on Godzilla, because he shows up in it.
Yeah.
It's classified as one. So
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Speaking of unfortunate things, Pat, what's ugly about the invasion of the Astro-Monster, other than the fact that I continuously almost forget that that's the name of this movie?
Yeah. Okay, they use a lot of high-pitched sounds in this film.
Sound design was not on point.
Yeah, no, like there's like the saucers like emit this high-pitched frequency whenever they're on screen, and it is just so annoying.
it's the stereotypical like flying saucer, like, but like higher pitch
Yeah, it's
and
like
longer. Well, they have that too. And that was just like 5 seconds. Imagine like a 20-minute segment with all of them flying around with that.
Repeatedly.
It's a lot like that. And then it is a lot of the high-pitched noises. And also Ghidorah. Whoever chose Ghidorah's like chirping did not choose very well.
Yeah.
As far as giant monster noises.
He sounds like a chickadee.
Yeah, he does. Sound design is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the lady guard actually is an annoying sound.
Yeah.
Like it is actually an annoying sound, and they play it very loudly.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say that's something I would warn people about. Just like, yo, bro, just be prepared. Some of the noise is bad.
Not good on the ear holes.
Not good. Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ugly. I mean, bad is the fact that Godzilla isn't around, but he is around enough that it's not ugly that he's not around.
Yeah.
Ugly. I would have to say,
They kind of shoehold him into the plot.
they shoehold him into the plot. The movie is ugly.
Yeah.
This is not a great movie. We probably got about 3/4 of the way through, and they have a line in there that says like 5 hours and counting, and I literally was just like, are they talking about how long this movie is?
Yeah.
Because it actually feels kind of like
It feels so long.
It feels so long.
Like it drags on.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like
Yeah.
the plot forms. There's
Rather
question
quickly.
mark. Like the plot does form rather quickly, but it is kind of one of those things where it's like it starts forming. You kind of know that the Xiliens are not our friends,
Yeah.
but they don't really get to the point of like what exactly their whole plan is. And then it's like they talk about water and their water facility is damaged, and and not America, the world. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
When Glenn's in there.
Yeah.
But the world has a lot of water. We know that,
Yeah.
you know, planet Earth has a lot of water, and that's something that's extremely valuable to them. It would
More
make
valuable
sense.
than gold.
Yeah, it's more valuable than gold to them, which they have in abundance. You would think that they would possibly try to make a trade that would be like, oh, we take some water in exchange for your gold, and we don't take into account that, oh yeah, the world is useless when we don't have natural resources. Gold's great until it's not.
Yeah.
Water. You know, like you think that could be a plot, that could be kind of a talking point, because sometimes Godzilla has a message.
Yeah.
And it's usually something along the lines of, hey, stop atomic testing.
Yeah.
You're ruining the environment. You're causing a natural disaster.
Yep.
Respect nature and their boundaries. You know, it's things like that
Yeah.
where they usually have a little bit of a message. You'd think that the message on this one would be like, hey,
Can't trade nature for wealth.
yeah, you can't trade nature for wealth. That could be an interesting message. But when they eventually reveal their grand master plan, it is clear that, you know, they've taken Godzilla and Rodan and King Ghidorah, and they've made them all these mindless monsters essentially to destroy humanity.
Yeah.
But it comes out that the plan seems more along the lines of, you're a colony of us, and if you don't do what we tell you to, then you will be destroyed.
Yeah.
And they don't really even tell them like what they want them to do. They're
As
just
a
like, you're a
colony.
colony.
Yeah.
You're a colony, surrender and do as we tell you, or we'll destroy you. And immediately they're like, well, I'm not having any of that noise. And
Yeah.
Glenn makes a patriotic screech, and the entire world comes rallying behind him.
Great eagle wings fold out from the earth,
Exactly.
and it enters its battle form.
Glenn bless Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ugly is the plot is a mess. This movie is a mess when it
Yeah.
comes to that. It's hard to follow. It's hard to remember. It's hard to keep track of everything that they're trying to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's ugly to me. I would warn people that it's just like, this movie's, it's not a very good movie. It's a mess.
Yeah.
All right. Need I even ask? What is iconic about the invasion of the Astro-Monster? We're
Glenn!
the funny thing is that we're just kind of joking.
I know.
Glenn's like barely in the movie.
Nah, but he made the movie.
He did. We are kind of joking. Glenn actually is not like.
He's not the main focus.
No,
buddy.
we're making him out to be a lot cooler than he actually was. He's pretty lame. All of the human characters are pretty lame.
Yeah. All the alien characters are lame.
All of them are lame. Even Godzilla to an extent is kind of lame.
Yeah.
Kind of, but
I mean, he does this really cool, like, deek dance.
he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Iconic Godzilla. He's on screen for 5 minutes. He's still iconic.
Yeah.
He is the best part of this movie. Like, Rodan is weird.
Okay. The scene where Rodan carries Godzilla to attack King Ghidorah.
Like the 3-second clip.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
It's
He
super
picks
cool.
him up and throws him. I mean, it's hard to pick an iconic for this movie. There's not really a thing that he kind of just stands out and it's just like, yeah, this is why it's worth watching on a regular basis or something.
It's really not worth watching, though.
It's not, and it's just like you don't really miss anything by not watching it. I don't know for sure. We haven't watched anything after it. Maybe they reference it a lot.
I mean, I think one of the later ones, they all get mind controlled again.
It's possible, yeah.
But that's it that I can think of.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if it's the Xiliens, but I mean, the Xiliens supposedly blew themselves up.
Right, and they're controlled by a computer that, the computer had a loss of connection.
Yeah.
It literally had a Wi-Fi loss before Wi-Fi was a thing.
Yeah, it couldn't function because of the noise.
Yeah, literally. The fact that the weakness is noise is one of those things. It's like, people give crap to War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Because the Martians are essentially allergic to air.
Yeah.
Where it's the microbiomes, it's the bacteria in the air and stuff that kills them. They give them crap about that, but I guess that's a pretty interesting scientific idea. Is like,
Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense. Like when you're
think of the planet they were grown on and built to survive.
Yeah, and it's a different planet, it's a different environment.
Yeah.
It would be the equivalent of like an alien coming down here and they can't handle all the nitrous in our air or something.
Yeah.
Or not nitrous, oxygen. Most of the other planets are nitrous, right? Am I thinking that right?
I think it's hydrogen.
Hydrogen? I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Tell us in the comments
Right.
if you know.
I am not a scientist like Glenn.
Glenn is a scientist.
Glenn
he is a
the
god.
scientist.
He is the god of scientists. He invented science and then went back in time to reinvent it, then came back in the future and acted like he didn't.
Exactly. Glenn just acts like he's lost. In all reality, Glenn's the inspiration behind Indiana Jones and Han Solo and the Force.
Yeah, he just uses it to make his hair.
And he has an awful
He's such a terrible haircut the entire time.
He's got like a hard part on this side, right? So it's like the left side is the hard part. But then he combs his hair over like I do, over to the left.
Yeah.
So it's like he's coming into his hard part. And then he has
Like
a little bit of hair
separating
here.
strands too.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty great though.
Glenn, like we give him a lot of crap, but like Glenn actually was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It seemed like he had fun.
Yeah.
Filming it. We looked up a little bit of the trivia and stuff on the way, before we started filming all this, but it turns out that he actually was really chill to work with. It's like what he was known for.
Yep.
So as much crap as we're giving Glenn actually was a good part of this movie.
Yep.
Iconic. Why should you watch this movie? Don't watch it for Glenn. Don't. But
do.
But do. I mean,
Don't, but do.
the iconic part probably is the 5 minutes that Godzilla's in it, and you could probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can find it in the Godzilla the Showa era films collection that's on Godzilla.com and Amazon. We are not sponsored by this product. We don't get money if you guys buy it, but if you want to follow along, this is a great series. It's a great set. We're having a lot of fun doing it, and
Yes, sir, Bob.
we like to give a little bit of a shout out when we have these like box sets and stuff that we're watching. So if you're interested in that,
Shout.
Shout out the Showa era films Godzilla 1954 through 1975. All right, let's talk. If you had to make the invasion of the Astro-Monster for a modern audience, what are some things that you would do, Pat? Or would you like me to start while you think?
Yeah, if you can give me a few moments to just
Yeah, I can give you a few.
reconnect some neurons up here.
Take your time. Take your time. Honestly, I would make this film probably more centric on Godzilla if I'm going to make it a Godzilla movie. I would probably make it a thing where perhaps Godzilla and his radiation could be useful to the Xiliens. But he is also perhaps critical to something that is on Earth. We're talking probably destruction and balance, yin and yang kind of situation. Perhaps
Okay.
Godzilla is a bit of a balance in the nature. That could be your message if you want to really heavily feature Godzilla.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would go more with an angle of natural resources and life-giving things and nature over riches. Gold really has no value if you have no life to enjoy using it with. Gold is found, the joy of gold is found in being able to spend it and the power it gives you. Not necessarily the life it gives. It's not a life-giving material. I'd probably lean in a bit more with that. The sound being a weakness, I think you can have that, but make it more of a thing of it just disrupts their systems. It's not necessarily like the super annoying sound and they want to kill themselves.
It could be like a higher frequency that humans can't hear.
It could be a high frequency that humans can't hear, or humans do perceive it and you're using it as a lady guard deterrent kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's more of a thing of maybe it just like it causes people to like kind of freeze and like gives them an uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. That is, you know, some frequencies can give you a bit of an uneasy
There's
feeling.
quite a few sub-audible frequencies that are like quite often recorded in like haunted houses
Right.
that like cause dread.
Yeah, and so you can use that, and he's trying to sell that. He's having a hard time getting traction behind it. I definitely wouldn't be like, oh, it's a toy company. Why would a toy company be buying
Right,
Lady
like-
Guard?
Yeah.
Maybe make it a thing where it is this kind of, it doesn't make sense that this group would really want to buy it, but eventually it comes out that it's like, no, the Xiliens are buying it because it does disrupt their mind waves with their computer, and they're more of a hive mind than
Yeah.
just an alien race. Perhaps the computer is something that is actually like controlling them, or it's one specific person controlling the will of all of these people.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something along those lines, and you can kind of do like tech taking over biology.
Yeah.
You can have a message with that too. Like that's the thing, is a lot of sci-fi usually has a message or a warning about something relevant to science at the time.
Yeah.
I could go with something along those lines where it's like, hey, like learn to unplug, learn to appreciate nature for what it is. Don't be pursuing riches and further going down the line of tech over life.
Yeah.
You could do things like that. That's if you want to go with the sci-fi route. Otherwise, if it's a Godzilla movie, I probably would make it more along the lines of we have to learn to appreciate Godzilla, and the trade sounds amazing until it's like, oh, that's right, it actually threw our entire ecosystem out of whack. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, I like along those lines. I can definitely like you'd be like they're having like an energy crisis. They're like, Godzilla radiates radiation.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, we can use him as a power supply. So like they do that, but like they're also like working on hydrogen fusion.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, the Earth's got a lot of hydrogen, don't you?
Why don't you give it here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could see they would still have to like, if we just sent Godzilla off, it's not like we're good. Then it wouldn't be them invading us. It would be us invading them to reclaim Godzilla.
It's true. It wouldn't be the invasion of the Astro-Monster. And the other thing, it's not even like the invasion of the Astro-Monster. We already had Ghidorah.
Yeah.
He's an Astro-Monster, but he's not invading. It's
Nope.
the Xiliens. The Xiliens are invading.
Yeah. And they are not monsters. They're just Xiliens.
They're aliens. They're just,
Yeah.
they're higher tech people, really. That's like all they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing really alien about them. Well, there's not anything extraterrestrial about them. They are alien because they're not from Earth.
Yeah, but they're pretty basic human biology.
They seem to be. Almost as if they didn't really have the budget to make fake aliens and kaiju.
Yeah. It's weird.
But funk.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway. Any further thoughts?
Not a lot. Like, it's just a very strange movie. Like,
It's hard to think about what you would do
Yeah.
because the film itself is not.
it just jumps a bit too much, and like I've just said it multiple times, it's like it's multiple films shoved into one.
Yeah, it really is. There is a lot to it, but there's almost nothing to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like it's 2.5 hours, and you can see why it's 2.5 hours. But then when you actually stop and look at it, you're just like, this is a huge, massive nothing burger of a movie.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
like
anything.
multiple, like, just run-on scenes of just movement and like the in-between.
Yeah.
It's just not needed.
Yeah, not needed, not necessary. Speaking about things that are not necessary, I am amazing at these transitions. As you all know, self-deprecating humor. Huzzah!
Hip, hip, hooray.
Anyway, not necessarily things that are useless. If you guys like movies, we love movies. We love watching movies. We love talking about movies.
Yep.
We're constantly going about and finding new things to watch and new things to do in regards to movies. We're watching all the Godzilla movies
Godzilla.
with our other co-host DJ. We're watching the Universal movies, Mel Brooks movies. You and I are watching also B movies, so we're
Yes,
actually purposely
yes, we are.
going and we're watching some of these purposely bad B movie things.
Yeah.
And we're also watching now The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Of all things. That's either coming soon or has already come out. It's hard for me to keep track because we're watching so many movies.
The movies, they're coming.
They're in the room with us. Literally.
They're right there.
Anyway, we have a lot of fun just talking about movies and stuff in general. So if movies interest you, this channel would interest you, we're always open to comments. We're always open to suggestions. Is there movies that you guys want us to watch more? Is there some things that you want to see more from us? Let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you like this movie, let us know by leaving us a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and share us with your friends if they also like movies. They will probably appreciate our humor if you appreciate our humor.